What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 771 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's your boy KB coming at you solo dolo to get your week started off on the right foot, the left foot. That way you're moving in the correct direction and feeling good here on this Monday. We got a lot to dive into. We're talking 4 teams on this episode. We got to talk about the Fightin' Phils. We got to talk about the Birds. We got to talk about the Dogs. And we got to talk about those Philadelphia Union. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. It helps this show continue to grow. It helps us do more dope stuff with and for you guys. So keep following us on the socials at Underground PHI. You can follow me on the socials if you so choose. On Twitter, it's KBIZZL311. On Instagram and Threads, it's KBIZZLE11. Subscribe to the pod, subscribe to the pod, subscribe to the pod. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It genuinely goes such a long way for helping this show continue to grow when you subscribe. So keep on subscribing on Apple and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It is all on our YouTube channel. We are 6 subscribers away from 1,100. I'm tired of seeing 1-0. I want to see 1-1. I want to see 1-2. I want to see 2-2. I want to see more subscribers on the channel. So keep subscribing, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, and click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. And this show, guys, is proudly presented by the city of Vineland. And guess what? The Garden State Comic Fest is coming to the new Vineland Convention Center Saturday, November 15th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, November 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Meet Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Melissa Joan Hart, plus fan-favorite stars like Dan Parent, the legendary Archie's comic artist and writer, Kivas Clash, the voice of Elmo, Splinter, and Baby Sinclair, and Keith Williams, iconic comic book inker from Marvel, and more. Comics, cosplay, collectibles, and over 6,000 fans. Visit gscfvineland.com for all the details. Again, visit GSCF, Garden State Comic Fest, Vineland.com for all the details, and we thank the city of Vineland for being a proud presenting partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia, where it's always growing season. And also big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast.
The Vineland Municipal Utilities is committed to helping your business succeed. As a community-owned utility, our focus is on service, not profit. From site planning to powering your operations, we can help you achieve your strategic goals. Whether it's a customized cost analysis of your usage needs, engineering support to ensure a smooth interconnection, or offering lower rates than neighboring utilities, we want to be your partner in creating an environment for long-term success. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Fightin' Phils have won another series. They take 2 out of 3 from the Washington Nationals, a little revenge from splitting down in the nation's capital last weekend, coming off of the series sweep against the Mariners. A good series win here. They should have won on Friday, just a fluke. Couple things from Joan Duran, his first blown save in a Phillies uniform. Guess what? It's going to happen. Nobody's perfect except for Brad Lidge in 2008. And even then, Brad Lidge needed some help along the way. Some things happen. I wasn't expecting perfection from Jhoan Duran. I just want him to be as nails as possible, especially in the postseason. So I'd rather him have some hiccups now, get him out of the way, and then when the postseason comes, he is lights out like he has been for most of his Phillies tenure already. They get a great win, 6-4 on Saturday, behind Aaron Nola, who goes 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, only 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 1 walk. He looked great. David Robertson struck out the side when he came in relief. Matt Strahm had a little bit of a hiccup, but got through it. Orion Kerkering cleaned it up, and then Jhoan Duran came in to seal the deal on Saturday. Trey Turner hits another home run at Citizens Bank Park. That was a great sign. Edmundo Sosa went yard as well. And then today, your boy was at the game. CFO Margie and I, our season ticket game, we twinned. I was like, what up, twin? We had matching shirts, these awesome Parlor 47 brand. I'll stand up and show you guys from the back, too. Just a sweet shirt. I don't even know if they got picked up in the mic, but nonetheless, a sweet shirt, all pun intended. I genuinely think it might be, outside of like championship gear, the quickest to sell out merchandise from 47 on their website I've ever seen. But happy to have this shirt. Shout out to 47. We'll talk about them a little bit later as well. But CFO Margie and I twinned at the game. It was very fun. And Ranger Suarez was electric. A new career high in strikeouts, 11 Ks through 7 innings. Gave up only 3 hits. Nobody walked by Ranger Suarez. And then Jose Alvarado comes in, and it got dicey. He walked 2 batters, gave up a hit, had to be taken out with the bases loaded, ends up surrendering a run on his record. But Tanner Banks comes in and was absolutely nails to get out of that inning. Orion Kerkering gives up a home run to Luis Garcia. Made things interesting in the 9th, but nonetheless gets through it. Picks up the 4th save of the season for himself, and the Phillies win 3-2 on Sunday. I'm so happy, though, as we talk about this game in particular. Like, you know, the Duran stuff happened on Friday. It happens. You know, I'm not overly concerned. I still think Jhoan Duran's the best closer in baseball. Great win on Saturday. Nola looked a lot more like himself, and if we're going to get that Aaron Nola going into the postseason, that is a great sign for this team. And the Aaron Nola slander is so out of pocket. The dude is an incredible pitcher. You don't last in the majors as long as Nola has, unless you're a damn good pitcher. And that's exactly what Aaron Nola was on Saturday. Did his job. I was thoroughly impressed, and I think it was just a fluke game in his first game back, coming back from the injuries and kind of just getting acclimated again. He looked great on Saturday, okay? And if we're going to get that from Nola, I'm thrilled. Ranger was phenomenal, and I'm going to talk about Ranger for sure. But one thing we have to talk about, and I've seen a lot of people today in particular talking about it, because early on in the season, even when this player was playing well, a lot of people were saying he wasn't a major league pitcher. Tanner Banks, everyone. This is something that flies under the radar. Okay, it was a late deadline trade last year. Nobody thought anything of it. And Tanner Banks has come to Philadelphia and really become a vital piece of this bullpen for the Phillies this year in particular. He has been sensational this year. He's got a 2.88 ERA in 56 games pitched. He has been unbelievable for this team. Like, I genuinely, Rob Thompson said it today after the game. He said he's been a godsend for us. He's 5-2 with a 2.88 ERA in 56 games, 1 save, 56 in the 3rd innings pitched, 53 strikeouts, a .94 whip. Like, by far and away, his best season he's on pace to have of his career at the age of 33. And the fact that he's having the season that he's having, especially with the Alvarado suspension, especially when coming into the season, this bullpen was getting shuffled to the 9s. Tanner Banks has been such a revelation for this team that when it's all said and done, I genuinely think he's going to go down as one of the best Dave Dombrowski acquisitions at a trade deadline we've ever seen. We obviously have Edmundo Sosa in that category. Joan Duran seems to be like he's on that trajectory. Brandon Marsh is one of those guys. Hopefully Harrison Bader is here longer than just this trade deadline, and we can say he's one of those guys. Tanner Banks is shaping up to be one of the best, if not already one of the best, Dave Dombrowski acquisitions at the trade deadline that we have seen here in Philadelphia. Where would the Phillies be without Tanner Banks? Genuinely. Like, I don't know where they would be because he has been such a presence, somebody that has been just old reliable. Like, think of SpongeBob when he opens up the jellyfish net case. It's old reliable. That's what Tanner Banks has been. He comes in, puts his head down, goes to work, and people were saying he wasn't a major league pitcher to start the year. People were calling for him to get DFA'd in April. Why? I never saw that. You know, when the bullpen was going crazy and you were thinking about making moves, I said, maybe you do, but I didn't really think Tanner Banks deserved to ever be removed from this team. And he's making a lot of people look really stupid, and I love it. I love when guys on this team make the casual fans look really dumb. You know, I talked about Brandon Marsh a couple weeks ago. I've talked about Alec Boehm ad nauseum on this podcast. I've talked about it with so many guys. Nick Castellanos. I've talked about it with Taijuan Walker. I've talked about it with Aaron Nola. You know, there's so many guys that I've brought this topic of conversation to the table about. I brought it up about Trey Turner, where, you know, just because a slump or a stint of time, someone's not performing to the expectation you may have for them, doesn't mean they're a bad player. And Tanner Banks has been an unbelievable player for this Phillies team, and I genuinely don't know where the bullpen would be without Tanner Banks. And his presence back there, I know, like, you know, we've been talking about this pitching staff and starters and bullpen where they are very left-handed heavy. Tanner Banks being back there, I think, is such a veteran presence. He got interviewed after the game today and joked that this is the first time that he has stood in front of that backdrop, which I'm pretty sure it is. You know, not often that we're talking to a guy that comes into the game, you know, that's not the closer or the starting pitcher when it comes to pitching. So kudos to Tanner Banks. And he just seems like such a genuine guy, always has felt that way since he's been here and we've gotten a chance to be around him and see what he's about. He just seems so genuine, and he loves being a part of this team. And I hope Tanner Banks is here for the rest of his career because he just seems like the consummate pro and such a perfect veteran presence for this team in the back of the bullpen. And it feels like he's going to be here the rest of his career because he's not a free agent until 2029, which is awesome. But shout out to Tanner Banks, an October baby as well. Right around my birthday, October 24th, 91. I'm 29th, 93. And what a story. I mean, he was an 18th round pick in the 2014 MLB draft. He made his debut in 2022. He's awesome and just such a cool guy. We would love to have Tanner Banks on this podcast for sure. And he's somebody that, you know, I brought it up to CFO Margie when we were at the seats today. I trust Tanner Banks in the playoffs. I trust him 100%. He has been so good out of the pen. And you look at who the options are going to be back there when Red October rolls around. Obviously, you're going to have Joan Duran. You're going to have Matt Strahm. You're going to have Orion Kerkering. You'll have David Robertson. You know, you're not going to have Alvarado. You're going to have Tanner Banks. And that's pretty cool. That we can trust Tanner Banks to be a legitimate guy out of the bullpen. And he's not blowing guys away. He's not throwing 100 miles an hour. But he's somebody you can bring in if someone has a rough start and be like, hey, this guy can come in and pitch, you know, an inning and a third for us and get us out of some trouble. It makes the bullpen feel a lot more comfortable going into the postseason when you have Banks, Robertson, Orion, Strahm, Duran, Who am I forgetting that's going to be back there too? Joe Ross as the mop-up guy. It allows you to get more creative and not feel obliged to put Ranger or Luzardo in the bullpen, in my opinion, because obviously before the Wheeler injury, and by injury I mean the Wheeler situation, I mentioned on the last episode, it's not an injury, it's the medical issue with the blood clot. You were thinking about putting Luzardo or Ranger Suarez in the bullpen. I don't know if you can get away with doing that now. I don't know. Maybe in the NLDS, but other than that, I think you need those 4 guys as starters. And you'll have Taiwan in the bullpen as well. So it's shaping up to be a very good postseason bullpen. And nonetheless, the Phillies win the series. And before the game, Zach Wheeler put out a statement on his Instagram, tagged his wife in it as well. A very emotional and heartfelt message from Zach Wheeler. It says, "Thank you for all the support this season. It means the world to me and my family. As many of you know, I'll be having surgery in the coming weeks, which means I'll miss the rest of the 2025 season. It's tough news, but I'm grateful for all the love and well wishes I've already received. I'm locked in on the work ahead and can't wait to be back in 2026, ready to give everything I've got for this team and this city. Thanks for riding with us through it all. Signed, Zach Wheeler." You can tell how much this pains him that he's not out there. And it just shows the type of competitor that he is. It shows the type of player, the type of teammate. And I know we've talked about Wheels a ton. It's still tough. You know, it's not an injury. It's not rehabbing from Tommy John or a sprained ankle or an ACL or something like that. It's a life-threatening thing that if it went undetected, who knows? But this team, I think, not that you ever want to see one of your best players and easily your best pitcher go down for the season, but Wheeler is the type of player and the type of person that this team they're privy to rally around. He's a guy that you want to bring it home for him, and that's why it's hashtag win it for Wheels. Win it for Wheeler. Wishing Zach nothing but the best in the surgery and the recovery, and like I mentioned when we first found out the news, Zach's brother has been a longtime listener of this show since Zach signed here, which is crazy. He's one of the first, if not the first, Phillies family member to follow us on social and start listening to the show. So we appreciate the Wheelers always, and just wishing nothing but the best for Zach and his recovery, and hoping he's back strong in 2026 and everything goes smooth first and foremost, because life comes first. Baseball will always be there. So shout out to Wheels. We love you, brother. And on top of that, as I talk about the pitching staff and everything, my tip of the cap here. Tip of the cap is brought to you by 47, our awesome partners at 47. Guys, there's genuinely no better hat brand, no better apparel brand out there for your favorite teams than 47. I'm wearing the All-Star Game hat right now. You guys see me. I'm always suited and booted in 47 hats. I have a whole stack right here next to me. If there was a camera in here, if we had more technology to show you, I'd show you the 47 cam, because I've got them all in the studio. I bought another one today at the 47 store at Citizens Bank Park. I always stop in there as well. 47's truly the best. They've got every single style and piece of apparel that you could want for your favorite sports teams. The contemporary basics are now out for the NFL and NCAA teams. The Luminance collection for all the ladies out there for your favorite NFL and NCAA teams. I just got my hands on the Carhartt Phillies hat, which is amazing. Get decked out for your favorite teams, your favorite NASCAR drivers, WNBA. NFL season is about to be here. It's crazy to think. Rep your favorite teams with 47. Use our link in the description, shop with 47, and when you join the 47 family today, make an account. It's free to sign up. You earn points on every purchase you make, which goes towards free gear, and you get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family. So use our link in the description, shop with 47, and get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family. And we thank 47 for being a proud partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. My tip of the cap goes to Tanner Banks. He effectively won the series for the Phillies today. Got them out of trouble. Came in, was cool, calm, and collected, and was truly dynamic and has been deserving of a tip of the cap all season long from this Phillies team, from Phillies fans. He has been awesome. Just flies under the radar, puts his head down, and goes to work. And he's been a joy to watch whenever he comes into games that I've been at. Whenever I'm at home watching the games, Tanner Banks is ready to rock and roll, and I never feel like worried when Tanner Banks is coming into a game. There's never any sign of me like being like, oh, here we go, Tanner Banks, like this is the white flag, this is surrendering. No, Tanner Banks has been awesome, and I hope a lot of people start giving Tanner Banks his flowers because he absolutely deserves them, and he has been a pivotal piece of this bullpen, navigating through the Alvarado suspension, navigating through just this season with the ups and downs this bullpen has had. Tanner Banks has been spectacular, so shout out to Tanner Banks. My tip of the cap goes to him on this episode. But a nice Phillies win, a nice series win. Ranger Suarez was fantastic today. Truly brilliant. 11 strikeouts. But now, the Mets series. The biggest series of the season so far. Last time the Phillies faced the Mets was at Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies took 2 out of 3, including a Sunday Night Baseball win that your boy was in the building for. Now, the Mets lost again today. Hashtag LOL Mets in the comment section. The key to this upcoming series, Phillies are 7 games up in the division. You can bury the New York Mets this week. We can start this week off with a bang and bury this team. Starting on Monday, Christopher Sanchez on the mound. We go to Tuesday, Jesus Luzardo on the mound. We go to Wednesday, Taijuan Walker revenge game to close things out. All 7:10 p.m. starts. You can effectively go up 10 games as the month of August comes to a close, with 4 games remaining against the Mets. 4-game series at Citizens Bank Park in the beginning of September, rolling into mid-September. The Mets, however, are horrid on the road. They're 28-37. They somehow found a way to win some games on the road against the Braves. But they did lose today, so the Phillies are 7 games up going into the series. The Mets are 41-24 at home. For context, the Phillies are 42-22 at home. The Mets on the road are 28-37. The Phillies are 34-32 on the road. It's the regular season. I understand that. But hear me out, everyone. Hear me out. The Mets swept this Phillies team back in April at Citi Field. And I think at that point in time, a lot of people were wondering what this Phillies team was going to be all about. Was this a continuation of the playoffs against the Mets? Was this team flatlining? Was this the end of this era of Phillies baseball? Was that the nail in the coffin? Were the Mets just that much better when they beat the Phillies April 21st 5-4, They beat them April 22nd 5-1, and they beat them April 23rd 4-3. It's funny looking back at those games now. Because guess what? A season is not won in April. A season is not won in May. It's a season for a reason. The Mets have really tumbled down over the past couple of months, while the Phillies have found their stride and have beaten up on bad teams. They've beaten a lot of really good teams, and they've swept a couple teams along the way. There would be a collective excitement and joy in the city of Philadelphia, in South Jersey, in Delaware, and the surrounding areas of Phillies fans, and Phillies fans everywhere, if this team walked into Citi Field, said, hey, we remember what happened in April, and swept this team at home. It would bring me immense joy to bury this Mets team. Just absolutely bury them. Put them 10 games back of you. Finish this series 79-54. Make them beg and plead and crawl for mercy. Make their playoff hopes disappear like a Thanos snap. It would be the best feeling to see that happen. Not because I'm afraid of the Mets if they got to the postseason. No. Not this year. But it would cause so much chaos in that building where Uncle Stevie bought the team to save everything, to make sure the Mets never lost again. He was going to outbid and outbuy everyone in Major League Baseball. They brought in Juan Soto to save the day. Pete Alonso came back to finish his story like he was Cody Rhodes. Mark Vientos was going to be the new thorn in the side of the Phillies for years to come. And Francisco Lindor is the best shortstop in the National League. How's that boding for you? How's Ryan Helsley doing since you traded for him? How's that starting rotation doing, getting through 5 innings? How's Brandon Nimmo and Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto doing? Haven't heard many trumpets lately coming from Queens. And that's fine by me. Let's go to Citi Field, Phillies. And let's break out the brooms and atone for our sins earlier this year. And make sure the Mets never forget those boys in red pinstripes own the NL East. Let's win a fucking series in New York. I'm tired. I'm tired of the Mets. I'm tired of this narrative that they're the best team in the National League East. They're frauds. They're overhyped frauds. This Phillies team is better. The pitching staff is far superior. The bullpen is far superior. And now it's time for the boys to go hit at Citi Field. And I think they're going to do it. What say you, everyone? Leave a comment in the comment section. I'm excited for what's to come. Let us take a look at some underground stats and info, everyone. First off, the run differentials, and it is brought to you by our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Guys, you want to stand out in the crowd whether you're going to Citi Field to take on the Mets with the Fightin' Phils. You want to rep your favorite Philly sports podcast or gear up for the Birds season, the Sixers, the Flyers, the Union, and more. PHI Apparel Company is the place to do it. Go to phiapparel.co. It's linked in the description. And when you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND to get a generous 10% off your next merch order from our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Again, that's phiapparel.co, code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your next merch order. And stand out in the crowd with the official merch partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Let's take a look at the run differentials around the NL East and, of course, Major League Baseball. We'll start with the first-place Phils that are by far and away the best. They are 76-54, a nice little lead in the division at 7 games. They're 7-3 in their last 10. The Phils have scored 617 runs so far this season. They've surrendered 516, putting them at a plus 101 in the run differential category. The 69-61 New York Mets have scored 593 runs. They've surrendered 546 for a plus 47 run differential. The Miami Marlins are 61-69. Nice. They have scored 562 runs and surrendered 626. The 59-71 Atlanta Braves have scored 570 runs. They've given up 591 for a negative 21. And the Washington Nationals, who the Phillies just saw, have scored 557 runs. They've surrendered 710 for a negative 153 on the run differential marker. Then we go to the NL Central. The Brewers are at a plus 159. The Cubs are at a plus 126. The Reds are at a plus 48. The Cardinals are at a minus 32. And the Pirates are at a minus 70. The Dodgers are at plus 94. The Padres are at plus 57. The Diamondbacks are at plus 10. The Giants are at a minus 10. And the Colorado Rockies are at a minus 349, and they have surrendered 840 runs so far this season through 131 games. Taking 840 divided by 131, multiply that by 162. The Rockies are on pace to surrender about 1,039 runs this season. We are witnessing history, everyone. Let it be known, we are witnessing history. Plus, the Colorado Rockies have been eliminated from playoff contention already here in August. We go to the American League. The Toronto Blue Jays sit atop the American League East at a plus 55 run differential as well. The Red Sox are in second place with a plus 100. The Yankees are in third with a plus 101. The Tampa Bay Rays are at a plus 33, and the Baltimore Orioles are at a minus 72. The Tigers sit atop the AL Central with a plus 98 run differential. The Kansas City Royals are at a minus 3. The Guardians at a minus 50. The Twins at a minus 57. And the White Sox at a minus 72. The Astros are at a plus 19. The Mariners are at a plus 22. The Rangers are at a plus 63. The Angels are at a minus 88. And the Oakland A's, yes, the Oakland A's are at a minus 92. What does this wild card look like with the Yankees in third? So Yankees and Red Sox would both be wild cards, and they would play each other in the wild card round right now if the season ended today. And the Mariners would play the Astros, while the Blue Jays and Tigers would have the bye. That is chaos. Which right now, the Brewers and Phillies would have the bye. The Dodgers and Padres are tied. And the Cubs would play one of those two teams, and the Mets are the third wild card who would play one of those two teams, because the Cubs would play the other. That's crazy. Playoffs are going to be crazy, everyone, okay? The playoffs are going to be nuts. Let's take a look at the Platinum Plunk standings. The leaders in the hit-by-pitch category, as we inch so much closer to the end of August. Right now, we've got ties in both the National and American leagues. Caleb Durbin and Wilson Contreras leading the National League with 18, which was the record for last season, set by Jock Peterson and Jerickson Profar. That was last season's mark, not a record, I should say. But one hit by pitch by either of those guys, and a new number will be eclipsed. And then in the American League, Randy Arozarena and Ty France are leading the way with 21 hit by pitches. The leading mark last year by Randy Arozarena himself was 22. Now we go to the Philadelphia Phillies leaders. I believe Kyle Schwarber's still in the lead. Yes, he is. Kyle Schwarber leading the way with 9. Otto Kemp still in second with 7. All tied up with 5 are JT Realmuto, Bryce Harper, and Trey Turner, and Alec Bohm. So 4 guys have been hit by 5 pitches. Then Max Kepler has been hit by 3. Nick Castellanos has been hit by 3. Harrison Bader has been hit by 3. Edmundo Sosa has been hit by 2. Bryson stopped by 1. Rafael Marchand has been hit by 1, which leaves Brandon Marsh as the only, and Weston Wilson as the only active guys on the Major League roster who have yet to be hit by a pitch this season for the Fightin' Phils. And then we take a look at the team stats all around Major League Baseball. The Minnesota Twins still leading the way with 75 hit by pitches. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim have been hit by 74. The Seattle Mariners have been hit by 68. The Mets have been hit by 67. The Diamondbacks have been hit by 65. The Orioles by 63. The Red Sox and Cardinals have been hit by 62. The Brewers by 60. The Astros and Blue Jays at 56. The Tigers and Royals at 55. The Giants and Rangers are at 53. League average is 52. The Guardians are at 51. The Nationals are at 50. The Phillies are at 49. The Reds are at 47, as are the Dodgers. The Padres are at 46. The Reds and Dodgers are at 47. I don't know if I specified that. But if I did, I apologize for repeating that. The Padres are at 46. The Yankees at 43. The Rays are at 42. The Pirates are at 41. The Braves are at 40. The Rockies are at 39. The Cubs and Marlins are at 37. The A's are at 34. And the White Sox are in the basement at 33. Those are your Platinum Plunk Awards standings there for some underground stats and info for the people. Let's shift to the gridiron, everyone, as Howie Roseman has pulled off a trifecta of trades today. And it all got started this morning when the Eagles they waived Dorian Thompson-Robinson, which I think a lot of people expected, and they traded for Sam Howell from the Minnesota Vikings, formerly of the Washington Commanders. Sam Howell, for whatever reason, turned into Tom Brady whenever he played against the Philadelphia Eagles. And as I always say, if you beat them, you got to try to make them join you. And that's what Howie Roseman went and did. And they traded for Sam Howell today. The Vikings traded a 5th-round pick for Howell in the 2025 draft, as well as, or 2 5th-round picks in the 2025 draft for Howell, right? No, I'm reading this totally wrong, and I apologize. It's late when I'm recording this, so apologies for the dumb brain. The Vikings traded a 5th-round pick, number 142, for Howell, and a 5th-round pick, number 172, in the 2025 NFL draft, to which now, fast forward about 4 months later, the Eagles traded a 2026 5th-round pick and a 2027 7th-round pick in exchange for Howell and a 2026 6th-round pick from the Minnesota Vikings. I think this is a solid trade. You know, Sam Howell, he's a 3rd-string quarterback for this team. Tanner McKee is going to be the guy. He's got a finger fracture that he's probably going to miss week 1, so Sam Howell will be the backup. Kyle McCord was not good in preseason, nor was DTR. And McCord will probably hopefully get snuck onto the practice squad, let him develop a little bit. Sam Howell has played, in the NFL. He started 17 games in 2023 for a bad Commanders team. But he still threw for almost 4,000 yards, 21 touchdowns. he's serviceable. He's Kenny Pickett 2.0 for this team. And you don't ever want him to have to be the starter for this team, obviously. But while Tanner McKee recovers from the finger injury, I'll take it. And on top of that, the Vikings trading Sam Howell to the Eagles triggered the Vikings to go and sign our old pal, 2017 Super Bowl champion Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is the new man on the Minnesota Vikings, everyone. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I mean, you want to talk about just like full circle moment? 9 years ago, Carson Wentz won the starting job, so the Eagles traded Sam Bradford to Minnesota. That kick-started all of the trade trickle-down effects of everything happening for this Eagles team. And inevitably them being able to get A.J. Brown, get Devontae Smith, get Cooper DeJean, get Jalen Carter, and so much more. This trade just continues to trickle down. It's crazy. It's crazy how many branches of a timeline the Carson Wentz trade truly has. But Carson Wentz signs with the Minnesota Vikings due to the Eagles trading for Sam Howell. And I mean, Sam Howell's only 24. He's still very, very young and has multiple years of NFL experience. And if you can have a third-string quarterback like that, why not take it? I'm totally fine with this trade. It's really, and the Eagles were never going to use all of those draft picks to begin with, so I'm totally fine with the draft pick capital being used there for a position of current need. The Eagles also went out and made some other trades. They acquired Fred Johnson, or should I say reacquired Fred Johnson from the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 2026 7th-round pick, then sending, in turn, they sent reserve offensive lineman Darian Kennard to the Green Bay Packers for a 2027 6th-round pick. The Eagles were scheduled to enter the 2025 season with some weird depth at offensive line. They attempted to backfill their swing tackle spot after Fred Johnson's departure by signing Matt Pryor and Kendall Lamb, but neither player's performance in training camp suggested they'd be reliable options. We've seen Fred Johnson play for this team. He appeared in 34 games for us over the last 2 years, started 6 games in 2024 when we needed him. I'm just happy he's back because he's a vibes guy. You need a vibes guy on championship teams. Fred Johnson was the ultimate vibes guy last year, was in all of the social media videos, was a great presence in the locker room from everyone I've seen that covers the team in a day in and day out basis. My biggest question is why the Eagles just chose to not re-sign him when he hit free agency if you were just going to go out and acquire him again. But again, Eagles weren't going to use all those draft picks, so you might as well use them for something. I'm just happy Fred Johnson's back. This is such a good vibes trade. Feels good to have him back in the building. And I know a lot of people are probably like, why are you celebrating a backup tackle being back? He knows the position of swing offensive lineman. He can play inside, can play outside, can play right tackle, left tackle. I'm thrilled that Fred Johnson is back. And if Fred Johnson wants to come on this podcast, let me tell you, that man is welcome anytime, anywhere. You name the time, Fred, I'll be there, okay? Because he is ultimate vibes guy for this team. And I'm thrilled he's back because he's a proven presence. He knows what it takes, to fill in along this offensive line. And if they need him, they know they can trust him. And that's what you need with backup offensive linemen. You need trust, and Fred Johnson provides that. He's a presence that, is he Lane Johnson? Is he Jordan Mailata? No. But if you need someone to fill in for either of those guys, Fred Johnson is somebody that I am comfortable with putting out there and not necessarily like having a heart attack like we've had in the past with other quote-unquote swing offensive linemen. Also, like I mentioned, Darian Kennard traded to the Green Bay Packers for a 2027 6th-round pick. Kennard has won 3 straight Super Bowls. He was with the Chiefs for 2 years, came to the Eagles, won one. Best of luck to him. He's a champ forever with us. And, I think them getting Fred Johnson back just, kind of put the writing on the wall for him here. Best of luck in Green Bay, except for when you're playing the Birds, my friend. But thank you for being a champ. But this is just Howie Roseman masterclass. He leaves no stone unturned. And it goes back to the Mechie trade, too. You go get Mechie, Fred Johnson, Sam Howell, and some draft picks to make sure that no stone is unturned for this football team, to make sure they are in the best possible spot to go and win football games and go and win championships. And that's why Howie Roseman's the GOAT, man. That's why he's the best at what he does. He is truly a one of one. There's nobody better than Howie Roseman, and couldn't be happier that he's our GM, because Howie's season never sleeps, and he's making sure that when we go into this season, September 4th against the Cowboys, we're ready to rock and roll, and Howie's ready to go. So welcome to Philadelphia, Sam Howell. Welcome back, Fred Johnson, and best of luck to Darren Kennard. And Minnesota, congrats on Carson Wentz. Our Eagles Minute there brought to you by our awesome pals over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware, Pittsburgh, and Maryland areas. You can also find Kenwood Beer at your local liquor stores in those markets, as well as at the Mann Center all summer long. Again, that's kenwoodbeer.com. Must be 21 or older to do so. And as always, guys, please drink responsibly. Who doesn't love a little playoff action? Okay, who doesn't love winning in the playoffs? I certainly tell you, I love seeing a win in the playoffs. And as you guys know, I always preface this, or try to preface it. I am a credentialed media member in the Premier Lacrosse League. I feel very grateful for that. I've talked to some people there and just talking about balancing, talking with a Philly bias versus, my unbiased media perspective. But that's what this show is for. I'm here to bring you guys into a new sport, bring you guys into fandom of a new team, because I am around them all summer long. And guess what? We've got the Philadelphia Waterdogs moving on to the PLL Semifinals at Subaru Park on September 1st against the New York Atlas, because they took down the Maryland Whipsnakes 14-12 in Minnesota on Saturday. A brilliant win. The big three came to play. And by the big three, I mean Philly's own Michael Sowers, the legend, the captain, Kieran McCardle, and the number 1 overall pick, the Rook, CJ Kirst. Those three combined for 19 points, combined for every single goal that the Waterdogs scored in their victory. Michael Sowers had 8 points, 4 goals, 4 assists on 6 shots. Kieran McCardle, 6 goals on 14 shots. CJ Kirst, 5 points, 4 goals and an assist on 10 shots. All of them shot at least 40%. And they scored every single goal. The entire attack line went to work, did what they had to do. Matt DeLuca was sensational in goal, stood on his head, made the big saves when you needed him to. Alex Stathakis battled against Joe Nardella, who is one of the game's greatest to ever do it. And you had rookies step up. Ben Weyer, Dylan Hess, Jimmy Freehill. Rookies on this team stepped up in a big way. And the Waterdogs are moving on to the PLL semifinals. They're in the Final Four. They are the lowest seed remaining. And they get a home game because the semifinals are in Philadelphia, baby. It's at Subaru Park. If you want to go to the game, slide in my DMs. Let me know if you want to find a way to get to the game. I would love to help you guys get there to take in this team, because they are going to need Philadelphia behind them. The New York Atlas are a wildly talented team. They've got unbelievable players, a great coaching staff. But when you can get that Philadelphia home cooking, that Philadelphia fan base behind you in a playoff game, no less, to go to a championship, that's something special. I will be in the building as media, looking forward to these games. It'll be the Waterdogs and the New York Atlas at 12 p.m. on ESPN+. And then at 3 p.m., it's the Denver Outlaws and the California Redwoods on ESPN2, followed by the Stars and Stripes game between the Green Beret Foundation and the Navy SEAL Foundation. Very awesome game, very awesome event. And Subaru Park is amazing, guys. And I'm looking forward to this. The Denver Outlaws banged the drum for the Philadelphia Union game this weekend, too, which was pretty cool. And the Waterdogs are moving on. And this is me just manifesting reality. Talk about 2022. That was the year of disappointment. The Phillies lose the World Series. The Union lose the MLS Cup. The Eagles then go on to lose the 2022 season Super Bowl. And then at the tail end of 2023, after the Eagles lost the Super Bowl that year, the Waterdogs lost the PLL championship by 1 to the Utah Archers. Granted, the Waterdogs were not Philadelphia yet, but they have obviously adopted Philadelphia. So that championship would have been a Philadelphia title like their 2022 title was. Fast forward, 2024-2025, Eagles, Super Bowl champs. Phils on pace to be pretty dangerous in the playoffs. The Union, the best team in MLS. The Waterdogs are in the playoffs again. Is 2025 Philadelphia's year of redemption, where 2022 was the year of disappointment? Could be. But it all leans on September 1st at Subaru Park as the Waterdogs take on their dreaded rival, New York Atlas, who the Atlas have beat the Dogs twice this season. So it's going to be an interesting game for sure. They're going to need all hands on deck, and they're going to need that Philadelphia crowd behind them. So if you want to go to Subaru Park on September 1st and cheer on the Waterdogs, hit me up. Let me know. I would love to find a way to get you there so you can take in a PLL playoff game. But shout out to the Dogs. Shout out to Michael Sowers. Shout out to Kieran McCardle and CJ Kirst and Matt DeLuca and Alex Stathakis. Those boys stepped up big time for this team. And congrats to Bill Tierney, his very first win in the postseason in his PLL coaching career. And it's exciting. We get playoff lacrosse, baby. We'll see what happens. That's why they play the games. But I'm excited. The matchups are going to be electric. And noon Eastern on Labor Day. Dogs and the Bulls for a chance to punch their ticket to the PLL Finals on September 14th at Sports Illustrated Stadium. And if you want to keep up to date with the Dogs, say you can't get to the game or you want to buy tickets, you can do it all in the PLL app, guys. The PLL app is the one-stop destination for all of your PLL needs, whether it be articles from the beat writers, behind-the-scenes videos from practice, press conferences, PLL fantasy, and more. The PLL app is truly the coolest app on the market for a sports league. You guys, it's also gamified, so you can earn experience points in the app by accomplishing quests, if you will, answering trivia, watching videos, sharing articles, or redeeming a code. You guys can go to the redeem code section when you download the PLL app in the App Store or Google Play Store. And when you type in OTBPOD, that's OTB Pod, you have 500 XP on your account in the PLL app. So download the PLL app today in the App Store or Google Play Store. Go to the redeem code section and type in OTB Pod to get 500 XP on your account and keep up to date with everything going on in the PLL postseason in the PLL app. Last bit of breakdown here because we got another win. It was a great Saturday for Philadelphia sports. The Phils won, the Waterdogs won, And the Philadelphia Union bounced back, and they clobbered the Chicago Fire at Subaru Park 4-0. A brilliant game for the boys in blue. Just an absolute masterclass of asserting your dominance. That's exactly what they did. They asserted their dominance. Ty Baribo, Kai Wagner, Danley Jean-Jacques, and Milan Olaski get the job done. 4 goals for the boys in blue. Just outclassed. They outclassed. And Andrew Vincent Rick steps in for the injured Andre Blake, the young 19-year-old, born in 2006. 2006. And was spectacular and got the job done and really prevented any malpractice from the Chicago Fire from getting by him. The Union took 23 shots, 8 shots on target, to the Chicago Fire 7 shots, and them having 2 shots on target. This was just asserting your dominance against a poor opposition. Chicago is not that good of a team. They are currently, I want to say, 10th. Yeah, they're 10th in MLS standings in the Eastern Conference, so they are outside of the playoffs looking in. They're a fringe playoff team, and this was a massive win. Cincinnati dropped points on Saturday as well, so the Union are now 2 points clear of Cincinnati, with the biggest game of the season upcoming this coming weekend in Cincinnati against the aforementioned Cincinnati FC. San Diego is at 53 points, so the Union are 1 point clear of them for the Supporter Shield. Feels good, man. This Union team is rocking and rolling, and their upcoming matches, like we've mentioned time and time again, they go to Cincinnati on Saturday, August 30th. Then on September 13th, they are in Vancouver. And then the U.S. Open Cup semifinal in Nashville on September 16th. Then they are home on September 20th at 2:30 p.m. against the New England Revolution. Then they go to D.C. to take on D.C. United on September 27th. And they close out at home on October 4th against New York City FC. And then October 18th, they play Charlotte in Charlotte to round out the remainder of the regular season. That's what it's all about, baby. You know, the season's dwindling down, a long season, and Bradley Carnell has this team playing at an elite level. Hopefully Andre Blake is back sooner rather than later, and I've been wildly impressed by this Union team. They have a plus 22 goal differential, which is by far and away the best in MLS. They have the fewest losses towards the top of the table. The only team with fewer losses is Miami, who are 13-7-5. The Union are 16-6-6. They are just a all-class team right now and playing at a level that you want to see from this organization. You know, it was kind of not like shaky or wavering, but you didn't really know where this team's direction was going last year after the season finished. You didn't know what was on the horizon. Jim Curtin gets sacked, and it was like, whoa, this is like really a changing of the guard. And this team has played wildly, I think, above the expectations for year one of a new manager. Because, like, let's be honest, when you fire a franchise legend like Jim Curtin, who coached the team for 10 years, from 2014 to 2024, he is a Union legend and should and hopefully will be in the Union Ring of Honor, because he's a franchise legend in terms of coaching, and he's a Pennsylvania native, grew up in Orland, PA, in Upper Dublin, Chestnut Hill area, and he was awesome. And then Bradley Carnell comes in and has really amped up what this team has been capable of, and it's been wildly impressive to watch because, you look at his coaching career, St. Louis City for 3 seasons, really, 2022 to 2024, and for all intents and purposes, I don't believe St. Louis are all that good this year. I could be wrong. Yeah, no, they're like bottom of the barrel, like really bad. He was with the New York Red Bulls as an interim in 2020. He was an assistant with them in 17 to 21. He's really put this team back in action where they need to be, and they truly have a very good shot to not only win the U.S. Open Cup, bring more hardware to Philadelphia, but to win their second Supporters Shield in 5 years, and to go on a run and win the MLS Cup. Like, that is not out of the question for this team. Not out of the question whatsoever. And a lot of that is due to the players buying in to Bradley Carnell. A lot of that is due to Bradley Carnell tapping into the potential of these players, and these players recognizing hey, we have a prime opportunity to go out here and really compete and make some history. So shout out to the Union, bouncing back in a big way as we gear up for a massive, massive match against Cincinnati on Saturday that I'll be watching from home for sure. That game is going to be unbelievable scenes, okay? And I'll probably be breaking out the Biñho board for it because, guys, Biñho is the next big tabletop game for your man cave, your she shed, your tailgates, your parties, whatever it may be. You break out a Biñho board at an event, you are going to be the talk of that event for the entirety of the time you are there. Biñho is paper football meets foosball in the next big tabletop flicking experience. Shop with our link in the description. Check out their officially licensed Philadelphia Union boards. They've got all the MLS teams as well. Plus, they have officially licensed boards for Arsenal, Chelsea, Juventus, Liverpool, PSG, and more. Plus, they have all of their classic Biñho stylized boards as well. Get your accessories, your merchandise, and more. Shop with our friends at Biñho by using our link in the description and get 10% off your entire order when you use code BiñhoBennett62 at checkout. That's code BiñhoBennett62 at checkout for 10% off your next order from our friends at Biñho when you shop using the link in the description. And we thank Biñho for being a proud partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is all I've got for you guys on this one. Make sure you're following us on the socials because we've got a lot of things upcoming from the PLL Semifinals. We've got Guzman's Gridiron back in action. I'll be back in the booth on Thursday for high school football. Going to be very excited for that. It's going to be a fun time, but it's crazy that football season's already here. Wild how fast time flies. We've got a ton of stuff with the Phils. We've got a ton of stuff with the Eagles upcoming. We've got the inaugural Underground Sports Philadelphia Fantasy League that we'll be talking about on all of our shows, which is going to be a ton of fun just because nobody wants to hear about your fantasy team, but guess what? You're going to hear about ours. It's going to be a lot of fun with the banter that we have brewing for this season and the inaugural season of fantasy football here at Underground with all of our creators. So be sure to follow us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. Subscribe to the pod, subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, and click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. And guys, this show is proudly presented by the city of Vineland. And like I mentioned at the top of the show, don't miss out because the Garden State Comic Fest is coming to the new Vineland Convention Center Saturday, November 15th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, November 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Meet Melissa Joan Hart plus fan favorite stars like Dan Parent, the legendary Archie's comic artist and writer, Kivas Clash, the voice of Elmo, Splinter, and Baby Sinclair, and Keith Williams, iconic comic book inker from Marvel and more. Comics, cosplay, collectibles, and over 6,000 fans. Visit gscfvineland.com for all the details. Again, that's gscfvineland.com for all the details. And shout out to the city of Vineland, man. It's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 771, a jam-packed Philly sports excitement edition of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. We'll be back on Wednesday, recording in your ears on Thursday and on your eyes on Thursday, breaking down the Phils and Mets, breaking down the Birds, gearing up for another Birds season, and plus so much more. But until then, I'm getting the heck up out of here. Go Phils, go Dogs, go Birds, go Union. I'll catch you guys on Thursday. But I'm getting the heck up out of here, and I'm signing off. Peace.